Welcome to MBA Solutions. I am Manjunath, working as an assistant professor at VVC, Mysuru. In this video, let us discuss procedure of calling for a meeting. Before going into the video, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon to receive more notifications. So, according to Companies Act, there is procedure for calling for a meeting. And if we see what is the procedure, or it may also be called requisites of a valid meeting. That means any valid meeting that has to happen, it has to follow certain set of norms. So what are those norms? There are 5 norms. In that, first one is properly convened. That means invited for meeting properly. Notice, quorum, number of members should be present in the meeting, chairman, and minutes of the meeting. So these are the requisites. That means these are the necessary things that is required to have a valid meeting. So this is the proper procedure of having a valid meeting. So now let us discuss all these 5 procedure or requisites one by one. Properly convened, that means invited for the meeting. So gap between any AGM should not exceed 15 months. That means you should invite an annual general meeting within 15 months. That is one annual general meeting and the next annual general meeting should happen within 15 months. It should not exceed 15 months. Annual general meeting should be called during business hours. That means why this comes under this procedure is because it has to be properly convened, it has to be properly intimated, it has to be properly informed, invited for a meeting in a proper way. So annual general body meeting should be called during business hours. Business hours means 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. other than national holidays. You are not supposed to have any annual general meeting of any company on national holidays, be it Independence Day, Republic Day, like this. Authorized person or authority shall call for a meeting. So meeting will not be called by everybody, it will be called by the authorized person. Sometimes members might call for a meeting. Board of directors will call meeting. Board of directors meeting will be called by board of directors. Liquidator at the time of winding up of company. Tribunal in some other cases. And if any other who is authorized by articles of association can call the meeting. That means they can send the notice to the concerned parties to attend the meeting. Tribunal can call or direct the company to call annual general meeting if company default in holding annual general meeting. So if company did not held any annual general meeting and it has exceeded 15 months from one annual general meeting to the other general meeting, or the company has not done annual general meeting at all, then tribunal can call for annual general meeting. So the powers lies with the tribunal, or it may direct the company, it may tell the company to have or to organize one annual general meeting. So they can call directly or they can direct the company, inform the company to call annual general meeting if company default in holding annual general meeting. And board may call extraordinary general meeting. This extraordinary general meeting we discussed in the last video, where these meetings are held when decisions has to be taken and company cannot wait till annual general meeting. So major decisions has to be taken. At that time, extraordinary general meeting can be called. And board of directors can call extraordinary general meeting. If board did not call, then members are eligible to call extraordinary general meeting. So if board did not call for an extraordinary general meeting, but members felt that something major has to be discussed, then they can call for extraordinary general meeting. So this is how the meeting has to be invited based on different authorities. So authority is also mentioned in articles of association. You can mention, or the company can mention that in articles of association also. And coming to notice of the meeting. Notice means you have to give prior notice to a lot of people to attend the meeting. So let us see what and all comes under notice of the meeting. So date, time, place, day, agenda of the meeting, what business, and any other detail of the meeting. So what is the date, what is the time, what is the place, in which place you are having the meeting, which day, agenda of the meeting, that means what you are going to discuss in the meeting. Business, that means which business you may have, or company might have hundreds of businesses. In that, which business that in that particular meeting they are going to discuss, and any other important details has to be in the notice when they circulate the notice or send the notice to the concerned party. Notice shall be sent not less than 21 days. So before 21 days of the meeting, the notice should reach the concerned authority, concerned parties. It can be sent via post or electronic mode. So it can be sent via post or electronic mode. If you are sending via post, it is better to dispatch before 25 days because it will reach before 21 days. Otherwise, because via post it may take some 2 to 3 days to reach. Hence, if you are sending the notice to the concerned authorities, concerned parties to attend meeting via post, it is always better to dispatch the post before 25 days, or in electronic mode. Electronic mode, maybe through email, you can send the notice also. Shorter notice through the consent of the members. That means, for example, you want to have meeting very soon, very urgent. Then you have to take the consent of all the members, that is not less than 95%. That means almost all the members have to agree for this shorter notice. In that shorter notice, number of days will not be 21 days. Maybe in another 3 or 4 days, they want to have an extraordinary general meeting. At that time, the company has to give a shorter notice. If they want to give a shorter notice to call for a meeting, then they have to take the consent of the members who has to be there in that meeting. That is not less than 95% of the members should agree upon having a meeting with a shorter notice. Then place of the meeting usually will be the registered office or same city of registered office. If your registered office is in Bangalore, or if your registered office is in Mumbai, then either in the registered office or in the same city, either in Bangalore or Mumbai, where the registered office is situated. Then notice of the meeting should be given to who and all should be given the notice? Every member of the company, legal representatives of any deceased member. So every members will receive the notice. Legal representative of deceased member, that means any member who has died, his legal heir or legal representative will be also a part of the meeting. So he or she also has to be sent the notice. The assignee of an insolvent member, if the member has become insolvent and he might have assigned somebody, that assignee also will receive a notice of the meeting. Auditor or auditors of the company, if it is single auditor or if it's multiple auditors or auditing firm, they also receive the notice of the meeting. Every director of the company will receive the notice of the meeting. So these are the people who receive the notice of the meeting. Now, omission of notice accidentally to any concerned party shall not invalidate the proceedings of the meeting. That means, by accidentally, without intention, notice might not have reached one concerned party. It does not mean that the whole meeting is invalid. The proceedings or the meeting is not invalid. For example, auditor might not have received the notice of one meeting. Accidentally, it is not intentionally, by accident. Then you cannot claim that the meeting is invalid because all the other members, other concerned party have attended the meeting. So that is what the company law says. Even though if one person has not received the notice because of some problem, some issues which is not intentionally done, then the meeting cannot be considered as invalid. It is valid meeting. If meeting is adjourned, meeting is postponed. Postponed means it is considered as continuation of original meeting. Fresh notice is not required unless AOA demands. That means unless article of association, in article of association, if the company has mentioned that if any meeting is adjourned, then new notice has to be sent. Other than that, if that is not there in the articles of association, then any meeting which is adjourned don't require the fresh notice. So that is what the Company Act says. Then notice of the meeting, what are the documents to be annexed? What are the documents to be attached to the notice of the meeting? For annual general meeting, audited financial statements has to be attached because it will be checked, it will be seen. Audited financial statements. The auditor might have done some audit and he has audited and signed in the financial statements. That has to be given. Director's report. So what report directors have given. Auditor's report. Auditor what report he has given. That also has to be attached with the notice. Explanation statement of special business, if any. If company is expanding their business or if company is going to invest somewhere, so why you are doing that, that explanation statement has to be included in the notice. And this has to be included to EGM also. Even in EGM you are taking lot of decisions, major decisions. There also, if you are expanding business, anything related to the meeting, so what and all documents you can furnish when you call for a meeting, all those document has to be attached with the notice. Proxy forms. Proxy, we will discuss this in detail. Proxy means one person attending the meeting on behalf of the other member. So that forms, who and all are attending in the form of proxy, that also has to be attached both in AGM and EGM. Now coming to quorum for meeting. Quorum means minimum number of members present to constitute a valid meeting. So what is the minimum number of members should be present in any meeting to consider this as valid meeting? So if article of association of the company provide for a larger number, then that would prevail. That means in article of association, if you have mentioned so and so members, this number of members should be there, and which is larger than the following members, which we are going to discuss, then fine. Or else, in case of public company, on the date of meeting, that is on that particular date of meeting, in case of public companies, if the total number of members is less than 1000 on that particular day, if the total number of members of the company is less than 1000, then 5 members should present personally. If 5 are there, then we say quorum is there. Minimum number should be 5. If total number of members is more than 1000 and less than 5000, more than 1000, less than 5000, then 15 members should be present personally. If total number of members exceeds 5000, then 30 members should personally present. So if it is 1000, less than 1000, 5 members, from 1000 to 5000, 15 members, more than 5000, then 30 members should personally present in that meeting. Then we say there is a quorum. If your article of association provides more than this, then you can follow articles of association, but the company cannot have less than this number of members when meeting is going on. Then what happens in private company? On the date of meeting, 2 members shall present personally. 2 is enough in private company. If 2 members are there, that is more than sufficient. If in your article of association you have more than 2, then you can proceed according to articles of association. Preference shareholders are not considered as members unless they have the voting rights. That means if they are not considered as a part of quorum, unless if they have the voting rights, if the company has given them the voting rights, then they will be considered as members and they can also be a part of the meeting. If quorum is not present within half an hour, quorum means minimum number of members should be present, and if they are not present within half an hour of the time period, then that means if 9:30 is the meeting, they have to be there by 9 o'clock. So within half an hour they have to be there. If that is not there, then meeting shall be adjourned to the next week, same day, same place, same time, or such other time, place and date as board may determine. So if before half an hour if they are not there, then it will be adjourned to the next week, same day, same place, same time, or board can decide upon the time and place and date. Notice of adjourned meeting should be given within 3 days of the start of the meeting. So if meeting is adjourned, then notice also can be given within 3 days, should be given within 3 days via ad in newspaper. So because for example in May 14th, if the meeting has to happen, it got adjourned to maybe May 21st, then you have to give, the company has to give an advertisement about the adjournment of the meeting in the newspaper, one in English and one in the regional language newspapers. If urgent meeting also quorum is not present within half an hour, then members who and all are present shall be the quorum. Because we have already adjourned the meeting, since in the first meeting quorum or minimum number of members for that particular meeting was not present within half an hour, so we have adjourned and we have given advertisement also. After that also, in the adjourned meeting, the quorum is not present, then whoever is present, they become the quorum. How many member is present, they become the quorum, and the meeting can be continued. Coming to chairman, who is the chairman? Chairman can be appointed as per Articles of Association. Chairman means who leads the meeting, or members personally present in the meeting shall elect one among themselves. One person among themselves can be elected by the members only in that particular meeting as the chairman, who leads the meeting. Election by show of hands or poll is necessary. If necessary, electing of that chairman can be by showing of the hands, by raising the hands and showing who will vote to whom, or if you want to have a poll of election, that also is fine. If poll is demanded, then elected chairman by show of hands shall lead the poll. Later, the chairman elected by poll will lead the meeting. For example, when meeting starts, initially they wanted to appoint a chairman. So somebody will ask, how many of you want to appoint so and so, Mr. A as chairman? So some people might have raised their hands, and later others will decide, no, we will have a poll to elect the chairman. So when the poll has to also be led by the chairman, hence the poll will led by the chairman who has been elected by showing of hands. Mr. A will lead that particular poll. Once it is led and once the voting is done, whoever gets selected, that chairman will lead the meeting. So in a meeting you may have two chairmen. First chairman will be elected by showing of hands. Maybe other members did not like to elect a member by showing of hands. Then you have to elect through poll. That poll will be led by the chairman who has been elected by show of hands. Once the poll decides who is the chairman, then that new chairman will lead the meeting. This is how the procedure happens. Coming to minutes of the meeting, minutes means the proceedings of the meeting will be mentioned in detail. So minutes of all the meeting, minutes means you have to maintain a document what and all happened in the meeting. Minutes of all the meetings shall be prepared and signed by the members of the meeting as prescribed. So minutes of the meeting shall be prepared and signed by every members who are present in the meeting, where meetings proceedings are included. That means what happened in the meeting, what are the proceedings, what discussed, everything has to be mentioned in the minutes of the meeting. These minutes of the meeting should be kept ready within 30 days of the conclusion of every such meeting. That means once the meeting got concluded, from that day 30 days time will be given to the company to prepare minutes of the meeting. Minutes of the meeting shall contain fair and correct summary of proceedings. That means whatever they have discussed in the meeting has to be mentioned properly, fairly, and in a correct format, in a summarized way. Appointments made in such meetings shall be included in the minutes of the meeting. Any appointment of directors, appointment of auditors, anything you have done in that particular meeting, that also has to be included in minutes of the meeting. Names of directors present and names of directors who have passed the resolution shall be included in the meeting. Who and all are present in the meeting, which director proposed what, which director passed a resolution, all these has to be mentioned in board of directors meeting if it is done. Then opinion of chairman shall also be included. For every meeting there will be a chairman. What chairman's opinion according to that particular proceedings resolution also has to be included in the minutes of the meeting. Acts as an evidence of proceeding of the meeting. So these minutes of the meeting acts as an evidence what they discussed in the meeting. So tomorrow, before 1 year, what we discussed, you might not remember. If I open the minutes of the meeting, it is easy for them to understand what we discussed before 1 year. So it acts as an evidence according to what they have discussed in that particular meeting. Thank you very much for watching the video.